Welcome to Sawdust and Cornbread. It's a new year and we're going to begin the year right by cleaning out the refrigerator. The first thing I'm going to do is go through all of my fresh produce, make sure nothing's wilted or withered away. I want to make sure everything's nice and fresh when it goes back in the fridge. You'll notice that during this cleaning, I'm not going to unplug the refrigerator. Some people think that's a big no-no. I tend to give my fridge a cleaning probably, I'd like to say every month, maybe not that often. And during that one cleaning, I usually don't turn it off. There is a time and a place every few months to unplug the refrigerator and give it a thorough cleaning inside and out. When I'm using my cloth, I fold it in the eighths so that I can have 8 separate surfaces. I remove the bottom shelf and yep, there it is, all of the crud. When I first go over every surface of the fridge, I do what I call Crumbsnatching. I'm just trying to lightly get off all of the loose crumbs. And if there is something stuck on, I might work on it a little bit just to get the excess off of the surface. If there's something really bedded on there, I can always take my cloth, my damp cloth, lay it on top and let it soften while I do the rest of the cleaning. Next, I take out my crisper drawer and wash that by hand in the sink in some warm soapy water with a little bit of baking soda. The baking soda adds just a little bit of gentle grit. It helps the soap work more effectively, and it also helps to deodorize the fridge. I go over the surfaces of all of the glass shelves and the crisper that's in the fridge. You'll notice in our fridge we only have one crisper drawer, and you'll find out why if you look back at this video I'll put above. We have never paid full price for any of our appliances. We always look for scratch and dent in order to get the very best deal. And doing that, you can usually get a better quality product than you could by buying the unscratched models on the sales floor. This deli meat drawer I could not get out of there. I think it has something to do with the alignment of the shelves on the door, so I just elected to clean around this. Looking at the top shelf, that seems to be where we tend to put all of our beverages within a hand's reach. So all of the dairy products, the juices and that type of thing are on that top shelf. The way we have our refrigerator set against the wall does not allow for this shelf to be removed, so I'm going to be cleaning this glass shelf in place. I'm going to begin with the top of the refrigerator. You may not think to wash the top, but things do get splashed up there, or a dish being put in the fridge may scrape across the top. Then using another one of my sides, I flip it over in order to do the right and left side of the refrigerator. I did use a fresh mixture of warm water with a little bit of liquid detergent and some baking soda. I'm going to do the back here last, and these are the least messy areas. I'm working from the least messy to the messiest part. Now I'll begin working on that front part of the glass shelf and the shelf itself, doing some crumb snatching to get all of those loose crumbs up before I give it a good scrubbing. These side doors, this is a relatively new fridge, and the shelves, I am just unsure whether or not they're supposed to come out. The side door is usually a really messy place in the fridge because that's where we put all of our dressings and syrups and toppings, and the lids don't always get put on fully. It's also easy to have a little tip over and spill some things as they come out, but it's important to keep it nice and clean. It's also important to keep things dry as you go. Anytime you introduce moisture to your fridge, it's going to have to work double hard to get rid of that moisture. So use just as little moisture as you can and be sure to dry as you go. Another very important point that a lot of people overlook are the seals on the refrigerator. The part that has a magnet that sticks when the door closes around the edges, and that's what forms that airtight seal to keep your refrigerator food fresh and to keep the cold air in. Grit and grime and crumbs get in between that area, that it kind of is like an accordion area, and can cut down on the efficiency of your seals. So always be sure to very gently pull those apart and remove any crumbs and residue and buildup that may be between them. Keeping your refrigerator and freezer running efficiently is especially important right now when energy costs are so high. You never want to push your items against those vents. You want the air to be able to circulate around everything. I've prepared a warm basin of water, again, a little liquid dish soap and some baking soda dashed in there to clean all of my organizers. Now, I have mixed feelings about these plastic organizers. For right now, we only own 2, and I purchased them at a very good discount. The one that I'm working on right now, we transfer our soft drinks into rather than keeping the big cardboard box in the fridge. I just find it easier to see how much I have in stock when it's time to get more soft drinks, and it's also easier to access. It keeps everything nicely organized as well. The other plastic organizer I have is just for our cheese and salad type products, things like sesame seeds or cranberries, and we like keeping that all together. But again, I have mixed feelings about organizers because it is one more thing that you have to clean, and it is an added expense. So let me know in the comments what you think about plastic organizers. Is it just extra? Is it more trouble than it's worth? Or do you think they pay off as far as ease of being able to take it out to wash it and keeping everything contained? I'm sure there are other ways to keep things organized in the fridge, and I do appreciate the way these keep everything together and organized. But again, it's just one more thing to take care of. I'm not sure how I feel about these. Let me know how you feel about them in the comments. Before you put anything back in the fridge, be sure to dry it thoroughly with a soft, clean cloth. I do like the way this container keeps everything for salads right at hand's reach all together without it falling all over that shelf. So I am pleased having this one. I'm just not sure if I want more. Then we go on to the salad dressings, jellies and jams, and some baking supplies and dressings on the bottom shelf. Here's the fridge, all nicely clean and organized. I love the glass shelving because you can see from one shelf to the next, and if there's a spill, it doesn't go on to the next shelf below. With the refrigerator all clean, I'm going to move to the freezer, and it's pretty much the same technique, just a lot faster because I don't want these frozen goods to thaw out, and I don't want to let all of the refrigeration out of the freezer. So I give it a quick wiping over. Typically, your freezer isn't as dirty as the refrigerator compartment because everything's frozen or near freezing when you put it in there, and frozen things hold together. It's harder to have crumbs or spills from frozen items. Of course, if you live in the home of a hunter, there may be some dried blood there in the bottom. In that case, you may want to wait till you can turn the refrigerator off to give it a thorough cleaning so that you can lay wet cloths on that bottom part where the blood is and let it soak in and soften it before you try to scrub it. Otherwise, you're fighting a losing battle. Cleaning out the sides here, and another thing I wanted to point out that has come up, I thought it was an interesting discussion lately, are the grooves on the bottom of the freezer, the way that it kind of waves up and down, and that same design is in the shelves. You can see it here in the bottom. See the little ripples? Some people say that those are there so that you can stand frozen items on its edge to get more in there. I'm in the camp of thinking that those are there more so that things aren't lying flush on the fridge and getting stuck to the bottom. And I also think it allows airflow around your refrigerated or frozen items so that everything can be equally cool. Let me know in the comments your feelings on that. I feel like if we cram every little nook and cranny of the freezer, then there's not going to be air circulation and it may prohibit the refrigeration process. Here is the nice, clean, finished refrigerator. It's so nice to start off the year fresh and clean. Now we know exactly what's on hand. I've weeded out all of the out-of-date or wilted items. We know what we have to prepare our meals and what we need to get from the store. I hope you've enjoyed this Clean With Me. It's a little different format that I'm trying. I'll be back again next week with some more helpful information. Thanks for joining me. Be blessed. See you next week.